Part 32. I lived on Gilo East Alley until 1997. That year, February 19, Deng Xiaoping died. At Chengdong Elementary, during the morning exercises, the national flag was lowered to half-mast while the speakers played the funeral march. I cried so hard my face was soaked, but not because Grandpa Deng, the great leader, had passed away. I cried because earlier that morning, I'd gotten into a fight with Caiu, and he'd ripped a huge gash in my brand new leather jacket with the zipper on his sleeve. I knew my parents and grandparents wouldn't hit me, they never had, but I also knew they'd be heartbroken. We didn't have money to waste, a new jacket only came once a year, for the New Year celebration. This one had cost 180 yuan, and I'd only worn it for a few days before ruining it. A kid's fight wasn't something you could demand compensation for. I can't even remember what happened to the jacket afterward. In Gilo East Alley there were many elderly women, all called or, each with a rank. At the top was my grandpa's eldest sister-in-law, whom all the kids called Big Granny. Her son was Gao Shugang, married to Song Sulan, my uncle and aunt. They had two daughters, Gao Ming and Gao Xiang, and Gao Xiang was my favorite, my number one sister forever. My own grandmother everyone called Apo, which made her second granny in the neighborhood hierarchy. Then came third granny, Chen Kaiyujun's grandmother. She'd worked in a government canteen, and her pension was the envy of the whole alley. Fourth granny, Ren Highway's grandmother, was from Yangzhou. People from Yangzhou and Taizhou always teased each other about who was local. Her Yangzhou accent was thick, and she loved to cook stir-fried pork with garlic shoots, always without soy sauce. Come to think of it, I don't remember her ever using soy sauce in anything. Fifth granny, Deng Xiaoli's mother, was Zhang Lanying. Her husband, known as Old Fifth Deng, was the youngest of the Deng brothers, hot-tempered, loud, and feared more than respected by his own kids. Outside that ranking were a few special cases. There was Old First Deng's wife, tall and straight-backed, always serious, almost never smiling. And right next door to Old Fifth Deng's house, number 1 Gilo East Alley, was a family bakery that made egg cakes and egg rolls in a real oven. When they baked, the entire alley filled with that warm, buttery smell. We couldn't afford them often, but sometimes we'd go buy a few pieces. They had two kids, Big Shuang and Little Shuang, older than the rest of us, so we rarely played together. Across from them lived Granny Huang, who lived alone. Her son Huang Jun only appeared in the alley occasionally. In the middle of the alley stood the milk delivery station, run by second granduncle and second granny. He was from Nanjing, spoke Nanjing dialect, and had fled to Taizhou during the Nanjing massacre. They had two children, Li Li and Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu wore braces, which in those days was something only wealthy families could afford. Through a crescent-shaped archway beside their house lived the richest family in the alley, the Zhu family. Their son Zhu Lishong, nicknamed Chen Chen, was my age, born in 1986, so we were inseparable. His father, Zhu Jiangguo, owned a boutique called Southland Style across from the Youth Palace. They had everything: cell phones, cable TV, even a motorcycle. His toys were the kind I'd only seen in catalogs. Because our older playmates Chen Kaiyujun and Ren Hiwei were 3 or 4 years ahead of us, Zhu Lishong and I were the youngest boys around, which meant I practically lived at his house. His mother was famous for her braised chicken drumsticks, I know because I always showed up at dinner time. She also made fried shrimp chips, which felt like food from another world to me. Around the corner was the Wang family, with twins Wang Qiang and Wang Min older than us too. Their living room wall displayed a huge, gleaming clamshell carved with a raised image of Guanyin. Then came 1995, the first major demolition of Gila Road, and by some cruel luck, it hit our block. Old Fifth Deng's bakery next door was torn down, along with half the street. With that demolition, a whole world disappeared. The disabled cobbler, the breakfast shop with the tropical fish tank, run by Gihua's family, and the time I'd been spanked by my grandmother, the only time in my life, because I'd stolen 100 yuan New Year note from my own red envelope to buy a toy gun from Gihua's store. The gun cost 10 yuan, but stealing deserved punishment. There was also the corner grocery that sold ice cream and birthday cakes, Xiaolong and Xiao Feng's house. The coal station with the big scale where parents weighed their kids. The grain and oil shop that sold hot sesame buns. The homes of my classmates Chen Qian and Feng Ping. And, most importantly, Tao Jiabing's store, just north of the elementary school gates, the biggest shop catering to students. All of them gone with the first wave of demolition in '95. And with them, an entire childhood.